Hey there, I wanted to give you some good news and a nice little boost of what's coming in the world and in the realm of financials. So, a lot of you have probably been rocked pretty good financially with COVID. And if I don't know if your state operates similar to mine, but one of the things that recently happened was in August they cut off my unemployment 2 weeks early with no notice. And then they partially closed down the island where the mayor was saying, don't come, and there was a lot of cancellations, and it just meant business just came to kind of a halt. And then they also, I guess, mandated that you could raise rent on people at that time for the first time. The timing was horrible, but anyway, they did it, and they raised rent at the same time. Then they cut off food assistance with no notice as well, and it's December, and that happened. And so it's like all these hits. Then they served me an eviction notice because naturally, with all that stuff hitting me, I got behind, first time ever in life. And it's like, wow, you guys are really setting us up for failure. And so anyway, that has to do with finances, right? And for someone who's had excellent credit most of my life and has always paid rent on time or beforehand and, been very financially responsible, COVID has definitely put a curveball in things, right? And I noticed it has caused some financial stress to come forward, that I haven't had to deal with in a long time. Because I am a single self-supporting sovereign woman. I'm a Tantra expert, and yes, I do get paid well, but when they shut down the island, then that all goes away, and and then they raise rent and think you should be able to just pay for it. It's weird. So I have some good news around finances. So this is what's coming, and you may have heard talk about it, and this also may be the first time you are ever hearing about this, because they're definitely not going to cover it on mainstream media, fake news. So the real news is, this is what's coming, which is super exciting. Part of the age of Aquarius, and it comes in many forms too. So there's a thing called a financial reset, and there's a bunch of currencies that have been devalued, like the Zim and the Dong, the dinar. These are from parts of the world that I think did not cooperate with the powers that be that were running the show, and they got devalued as like punishment, and they held their ground, and good on them. So those are a lot of people have those currencies as investment, where they bought it on pennies on the dollar, and that they get reevaluated and reset at a higher rate, the rate that they are supposed to be at. And that means a lot of money comes in through that. So there's a certain percentage, I don't know, let's just say 10% of people who've accessed that particular investment. So that's coming. They call it the RV, or the reset. Then there's this monthly stipend that, and keep in mind, this information changes over time as they adjust to what's needed, and sometimes change it, but at least you'll get the overall kind of basic info of it, even if it does shift a little bit. So then there's the monthly stipend, which they already started, I heard, in Germany, that, let's just say it's going to be like $1,400 is what they have been telling us in America, that we'll be getting monthly as an ongoing thing to recover from COVID. Because I don't know about you, as a single person, I need to be able to recover from COVID, and I did not receive the business loan stuff, PPP, whatever, like a lot of other people did. And some people fall through the cracks or whatever. So anyway, we need a way to recover financially too from COVID. And so this is one of the ways to do that. They're saying, oh, it'll be for 3 years, because then it'll help you recover. And it might be ongoingly as well, because it's somewhat part of the process of giving back the money back to the people that was stolen through taxes and overtaxation and stuff that has been going on for a long time. So that's coming, and I heard mention of it today actually through a friend, and I know there's some good news financially coming through around Christmas time, and that might be it, or it might be one of these other things that I'm mentioning. So I don't know about you, but that would really help cover most of my rent and be helpful. Let's see, what else? Then there's Jasara, which is the global version of Nasara, which is a national version of a lot of support, meaning debt forgiveness, student loan forgiveness, tax renovation, meaning only there's talking about only a 17% tax on new and luxury items, and that's it. No other taxes. There's no income tax, no property tax, no sales tax unless it's a new or luxury item. So that means used items don't get taxed, food is not taxed, your friggin' income isn't taxed, because, you know, we're just going to simplify it. So no more doing taxes. And of course, we don't know when this is going to get implemented, because it's going to all roll out and over time, you know, as part of this Jasara program. But it's coming. So you have that to look forward to. Yay. What else? Debt forgiveness. So that means mortgage forgiveness, car loan forgiveness, student loan forgiveness, credit card forgiveness. So now that doesn't mean, you know, go out and like max everything out, because we don't know. It might be a year or more before they actually implement that one. But just so you know, it is coming, and it's because, why would they do that? I'll tell you why. It's because it's a couple things. Okay, when we were under the old regime, it was a debt economy, and the debt economy is rigged for you to lose, so that you're pretty much always in debt. And it's unconstitutional. It's just out of integrity, period. Even your mortgages, most of you do not know this. The way they compound the mortgage and the interest and stuff, they have something hidden in there that's doing it illegally and unconstitutionally in a way that's taking more money from you than they should. Doesn't that suck? I know. It should piss you off, actually. I actually have a friend who called them out on this, and they were shocked, because not very many people know that. They have no right, when you think about it, like if you just use your logic sometimes, they have no right to tax your property when you already own it outright. You've already paid for it, it's done. You don't need to be paying taxes on something you own. It's just that they've gotten away with it, you know, probably claiming, oh, we need it to run the state and all that. But yeah, you're also taking sales tax, and you're taking this, in my case, in Maui, they're taking this huge, like, I don't know, what is it, 18% or whatever it is, tourist tax that you get taxed when you come and stay at a resort. And every time you charge something to your room, it has this 18% resort tax on it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so we're getting taxed out the yin yang, and it's unconstitutional. It's out of integrity, and we've been overtaxed, and this is a way to give it back to you. Now, typically, we're kind of programmed to believe that there's a limited amount of money, and there's only so much to go around, and it's the survival of the fittest. Bullshit. There's plenty for everybody, actually. There's plenty of resources. When you look at the whole, say, pot of gold, to cover everyone on the planet to live sustainably, and to provide food and all the resources that are needed across the board, there is plenty. It's just that it's been hoarded by the powers that be, the old regime. They hoarded it. They basically were holding 90% of the income and money and resources and gold and all that, so that the rest of us got 10% of it. So that's why it feels like there's such a lack, or, you know, such a fight to get a piece of the pie. But that's all an illusion. There's plenty to go around. So when it's redistributed in a conscious way that's sustainable, we have heaven on earth. That's what's coming. So what else? I think the way they've talked about it in the past, you know, that stipend I was talking about, where it's $1,400, say, for America, for, I guess that's what they decided on last time I checked, for the standard of living in America that they were going to give everybody. That is partly because, you know, we're moving from a survival mentality to an abundance mentality. And this is one of the only planets in the system out there of the universe where you have to pay to live here, even though it also sucks to live here compared to a lot of the other more conscious planets we could be living on. So you actually get charged to live here. You have to survive, and you have to work in order for it to work for you to be here. We don't know anything else, so that's all we know. But that is not ideal. Everyone should be able to survive on at least a basic minimum level. This is the new paradigm I'm talking about now. And so that's partly why that $1,400 stipend thing is in place, so that if you want to make beyond that, if you want to be able to have a higher lifestyle than that, then you can work if you want. But at least you have some choices, and you have like, oh, I could work part-time, or I still want to work full-time because I'm serving, or you know, if you're retired, you're like, hey, I'm good because my house is paid off, I'll live on $1,400, and that's, you know, so you have choices. But it gives you a baseline amount so that there's not people who are homeless. There's not people out there with no income or no way to improve their lives, because everybody's going to get a certain stipend based on which country you live in. So anyway, that's the majority of it in a nutshell, and that's all coming. I would love for it to roll out all in 2022, but you know, there's a certain progression to it, I suppose, and only Spirit knows. But I wanted you to know that, because if you are not aware of that and you've never heard of that, that is quite a relief, isn't it? And it's part of us going into that heaven on earth mentality, a conscious world, as compared to a world where the old regime pretty much was just using us as worker bees for their aggrandizement. And you know, instead it's going to be we the people that have the power, and we are all equal. So, hallelujah.